What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another mod showcase. And today we are going to be taking a look at old Hroldan ruins. Now, the backstory behind this mod, it's actually a pretty cool mod that adds ruins to, well, the old Hroldan Inn that you find in vanilla Skyrim. If you don't know the lore and the backstory behind old Hroldan, basically Tiber Septim, aka Talos, aka Hjalti Earlybeard, basically liberated what was supposed to be old Hroldan, right? But in vanilla, you didn't really get the sense of that. You didn't really get the sense that it was liberated. It's just like, well, it's just an inn. It's just an inn. It's like, why, like, how was this liberated? It's just a single inn. Well, this actually changes that, and it actually gives it more of an aesthetic to what a liberated town or fort would be, or aka old Hroldan ruins. Now, there's a lot to do with in this mod, like go, beat spirits and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna go do that. I'm just gonna go show you the exteriors of the mod. So as you can see, we have a couple towers lining the whole place. So about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so, like I said, I'm not going to go through everything, just so you know that you can get kind of like see it for yourself. So old Hroldan ruins, it's a very much of a what you would consider, yeah, see, and it kind of gives an aesthetic that yes, it was indeed liberated. So you have a couple of graveyards right here. Decrees of the monument. Okay, so let's read this real quick. Herewith to remind man and Mer that at this very place His Majesty the Emperor Tiber Septim, then called General Hjalti Earlybeard, but also a very young general, came to retake old Hroldan from the Reachmen with an army consisting of Colovians and Nords, after the latter have sworn their loyalty to him by virtue of his dragon-born and Nordic bloodline, and of his ability to use the Thu'um called the Shout. Quoting a written account, General Hjalti was a shrewd tactician, and his small band of Colovian troops and Nord berserkers broke the Reachman line, forcing them back beyond the gates of old Hroldan. A siege seemed impossible, as Hjalti could expect no reinforcements from Falkreath. That night, a storm came and visited Hjalti's camp. It spoke with him in his tent. At dawn, Hjalti went up to the gates, and the storm followed just above his head. Arrow could not penetrate the wind around him. He shouted down the walls of old Hroldan, and his men poured in. After their victory, the Nords called Hjalti Talos, or Stormcrown. We, the Jarls of Skyrim, hereby decree that this site has a historical monument to the victory of His Majesty the Emperor Tiber Septim, who thereupon after ascended the throne and united all of Tamriel into an empire and ushered in the Third Era. So yeah, so that's kind of the backstory. That's basically the lore behind old Hroldan. So it's very much the reminiscent of what you would expect, right? And I know there's another mod that basically, I think it's called The Great City of Old Hroldan. It does something similar, but I don't think it gives it as much of a presence as this mod does. It's very much along the lines of, just a town, right? And I feel like this mod would be in my permanent load order, right? So this mod basically gives it a little bit of a lore, and a little bit of a character. Of course, I don't think anything really is of I don't know. So yeah. So you have a few buildings here and there. Abandoned house. So, like I said, I'm not going to go into any of the interiors of the home, just for the sake of things. Hello?
Good morning.
Okay, so that's a merchant. That's a merchant. There was a house over here. No, that's old Hroldan Inn. But yeah, so this mod has a lot to be desired. Now you could go inside the abandoned house if you wanted to. Like I said, I'm not going to do it. Or you know what? Now my curiosity is piqued. What is inside the abandoned house? I'm very curious now. Oh, nice. Okay, so I guess this is like the entrance to like the underground area where you would fight like the Reachmen and stuff. Like I said, I'm not really going to do that because I'm way too underleveled for that, and I'm not going to turn on God mode just so you can see it. But like I said, you can kind of explore this for yourself. You know, if you wanted to use it as like
I work for Ildis. She runs the inn.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this mod. It's basically, it's supposed to be like an immersive sense of like, you know, Hjalti Earlybeard, aka Talos Stormcrown, you know, basically liberated the town and everything like that. So, but yeah, anyways, leave a like and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you like this mod? Would you ever use it in a playthrough as kind of like an immersive, you know, way to have it in your load order and stuff? And subscribe for more. Subscribe for more. I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers so I could actually be monetized on YouTube, and I don't say it often enough, but you know, I would really like to be monetized on YouTube so I could actually, you know, it is one of those things where it's like it's every YouTuber's dream to be monetized on YouTube. So but yeah, so anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I will catch you all on the next one, guys. Bye bye.